All right. Well, Griff, thank you so much for being here. And to get things started, maybe tell our audience your name and your company and a little bit about you.
Sure. Well, my name is Raymond Griffin. I'm the founder of the Lost Cajun Restaurants. We're a little restaurant company that was originally started in Frisco, Colorado in 2010. I'm a Cajun guy. I'm from a little town called Barataria, Louisiana. So I'm going to tell the story about the Lost Cajun, but let me set the stage right up front here. Number one, I have a ninth grade education. Okay, so I don't have a degree in anything except for hardworking people skills. Number two, so I hopefully get everyone's attention. 2019, our company did over 20 million in sales. So we just celebrated our 10-year anniversary. So that leads me up to telling everyone how this all started. Being a resident of South Louisiana, I had to deal with all the hurricanes: Katrina, Rita, Gustav, Ike, the big oil spill, all those things. I had a fishing lodge down there. And after all those natural disasters and man-made disasters, my late wife and I decided we'd had enough. We wanted to get out of there and do something different. So she wanted to be up in the mountains in Colorado. So I said, okay, well, I'll try that. And so we went up there and found out through just friends that we met that they liked the food that I was cooking. A little gumbo for a little party and some fried fish, things like that. And one thing led to another, and I opened up a 10-seat restaurant in downtown Frisco, Colorado. And the rest, as they say, is history. I opened the first one in 2010. We opened the second one in 2012 in Breckenridge, Colorado. Then people started telling me they wanted a franchise. And of course, you know, that's where I met you at an early stage of this thing going on. You were still very, very young and
Yes.
just out there running around. But here's one of the things I want to say right now. So one of the things I want to talk about later is you were willing, okay? You were willing to jump on a plane from wherever you were at the time and fly to Frisco, Colorado, and meet a guy that had two little bitty gumbo shops up in the mountains that no one had ever heard of. Most people didn't even know what gumbo was. But you were willing to come up there and to see what we're doing. Well, in 2012, we opened number two. 2014, we started franchising. And it was like I got run over by a train. It was so overwhelming, and the response was so overwhelming. In 2014, 15, we opened 10 stores in 1 year. Today, we have 26 stores nationwide. We just opened the new one recently in Florence, South Carolina. And us, like everyone else, is dealing with pandemic. That's the truth. That's what we're dealing with right now, okay? But as a business person and a leader of a company, you got to figure out how to do it. You can't just fold your tent and say, I'm not going to do anything. You have to figure out how to deal with it. And honestly, our sales are off almost 50% this year. And what's it going to take to rebuild? You know what? I don't know the answer to that right now. But what I do know is whether it's 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, we started this thing from one bowl of gumbo in 2010. And however long it takes us, we will eventually rebuild the company. Now, is it going to look different? I don't know the answer to that. Is it going to be as many stores as we have now? I don't know the answer to that. But what I do know is I'm willing to do the work. I'm willing to put in the hard work. Because one of the things that I tell people all the time is there is no substitute, none, for hard work. There's just none. There's no magic wand. There's no magic phrase. There's no magic book that you can read. The only thing that makes people successful is hard work. You know, I tell people a lot of times, 40 hours gets you a nice paycheck. If you work hard, 40 hours gets you a nice paycheck. 50 hours gets you a little overtime. But when you're willing to work 60, 70 hours a week, 6 and 7 days a week, that's when you separate yourself from the I want to be to I can and I will. I believe that there are a lot of components that make entrepreneurs successful. I believe there are also a lot of components that make some people that want to think they want to be an entrepreneur fail. And we can talk about those as we go. One of the things that I'm an old guy, so I have a lot of sayings. One of the sayings I have is that I I'll break your heart with the truth, but I'll never lie to you. I'll look you right in the face. So don't ask me if that dress makes me look fat. I'm going to tell you the truth. Okay. You're not going to want to hear the answer sometime. But there are some truths in business that you can never get away from. One is surrounding yourself with people that are smarter than you. People say, well, how do you do that? Well, you know what? There are experts in every field out there, whether it's franchising, like yourself, or whether it is supply chains, or whether it is HR, or whether it is writing an ops manual. There are experts out there that you can either hire, or you can get to know through relationships, or mentors. Okay. Mentors is a big thing for me. Mm-hmm. So there are a lot of paths to success and how you can get there. But the overall number one that I always say is number one is going to be hard work. Number two is going to be surrounding yourself with people that are smarter than you. I'm going to tell y'all a quick story. My first business I ever had, I was 7 years old. And I started selling KoolAid on Saturdays and Sundays on a golf course. And I figured it out by just walking by the golf course, and around the ninth hole, I could see these guys out there. That was before the invention of beer carts. Okay. The guys would walk around there and they'd have, you know, a water jug or whatever. I saw these guys getting out sweaty. So I said, hey, for 5 cents, I can buy a pack of KoolAid and some water and, you know, get some ice from my mama. And I'd go out there and set up a little stand and sell KoolAid. 5 cents a glass. I had 1,000% profit. And I did pretty good at it. I made enough money to have spending money at 7 years old. My second business that I had was mowing grass. A lot of kids do that when they first start off, but I had from the very beginning an entrepreneur spirit. I went out and asked all the older ladies and gentlemen in my neighborhood, can I mow their grass? Well, surprisingly, almost everyone I asked said, yeah. Well, I couldn't do it by myself. So I started subcontracting. Okay. I started getting the other kids in the neighborhood to borrow their mom or dad's lawnmower and come out and help me cut grass. Well, back then I was getting $3. I would give them $2, I'd keep $1. And so I was already multiplying back then. I figured out how to do that. Well, then I went one step further. I brought that KoolAid stand that I had on the golf course when I was a kid, brought it to my front yard. So after they got paid, they could buy KoolAid in my stand. So, you know, that's always been in my DNA is I want to build things. I want to create things. And if you're going to be an entrepreneur, if you're going to be successful, one of the things you have to have is a drive and a passion is to make people better, to grow people and make them better. One of the lessons I always teach all of our new franchisees and our owners is that the easiest thing we can do as a leader of a company, a manager, a GM, or an owner is to fire somebody. That's so easy to do. You just say you're fired and it's over. But here's what separates a great leader or a great entrepreneur is you take that person that's struggling a little bit, that's not quite doing as well as everyone else, and you pull them along, you mentor them, you give them extra work, extra attention. You show them that you care. You show them appreciation, and you give them a reason to want to strive to do better. I call it pulling them along or dragging them along, make them better. And then as you grow them little by little by little, now you created an atmosphere of cooperation, and other people have seen how that person is going from a pot washer to a manager or to a front house manager or a shift manager or even a general manager. In some cases, an owner, if you do it right. That's where I talk about not only do you want to pull those people along, but then you also want to try to push them in front of you. You want to try to make them so good that they can do better than what you're doing. It does a couple of things. The first thing is it makes you a better manager, a better general manager, a better owner. But here's the key. It makes you a better human being. When you can help uplift people and make those people better, to help them improve their lives, and you truly care, you truly, truly care about their well-being and how they're doing, are you helping grow that person? Then all of a sudden, you become, by your hard work, a good manager, good owner, but then a better human being. And we need better human beings in this world. We really do. When you create that environment of cooperation, and we call it our environment of courtesy and respect, we always treat each other with courtesy and respect. We treat ladies and gentlemen like ladies and gentlemen. When you create that environment, then all of a sudden you create this environment of success and growth that is unstoppable. You get a team of people, a group of people that love what they do. They're dedicated to what they do. They love the brand. They're dedicated to the brand. They treat it like it's their own business. Then you're unstoppable. It doesn't matter if you're selling sponges or if you're selling lawnmowers or dishwashers or gumbo or cars, it doesn't matter. When you, in whatever station you're at, there are people around you that you can assist to help become better at what they do. Better speakers, better salesmen, better technology, whatever it is. If you're able to help spread that environment around there, then they're going to help the people around them. Then all of a sudden, you create this environment of cooperation, and it's basically impossible to fail. So that's one of the ways that we got ourselves to be successful. So, what questions do you have for me, sir?
Yeah, no, Griff, that's amazing. That's amazing. I love it. That's inspiring, uplifting. It's charged. I hope everyone's ready to charge into the battlefield behind you. Like, let's go. I'm ready. I'm pumped up.
Good.
Yeah. Well,
I'm going to give you a saying for today. Okay.
Okay.
When we get up in the morning, the first thing I want you to tell yourself when you look in the mirror is, I am inspired, on fire, and ready to go. I am inspired, on fire, and ready to go. I'm doing a checkup from the neck up. How's my head today? Am I ready to be successful? Do I want to achieve something today? Who am I going to help out today? Who am I going to lift today? Who am I going to make better that's going to make me better? So be inspired, on fire, and ready to go every day, and do a checkup from the neck up to make sure your head's right and ready to go.
Amazing. Amazing, Griff. Well, I'd love to jump into our just kind of a little formula for some of our questions we like to ask every guest as they come through. And the first question we ask is about a miss. And this idea, was there a miss along the way here or there, then maybe a lesson you learned that you could share with the audience?
Sure. Another one of the things I tell people all the time is don't be afraid to fail. Okay. Swing often, swing hard, swing so hard that you fall down in the dirt and get back up and do it again. One of the things that when I first started in business, I was scared to fail. The hardest step that people take is the first step. So one of my biggest misses when I first started was being scared of technology, being scared of new things that I didn't know. And I would drag my feet. Literally, they had to drag me kicking and screaming into the technology age, like a Zoom meeting. Oh my God. Or all the other algorithms and all the other search engine stuff. I was scared of it. Had I embraced that from day one and understanding the world we live in now, because I'm 66 years old. I mean, understand, when I didn't see a cell phone until I was 26 years old. Oh my God, I didn't know what a cell phone was. Had I embraced technology sooner and all the things that it can do for a company and growth, then I would have grown twice as fast and my growth path would have been smoother and more straight instead of zigzagging all over. So I can tell you now that when someone brings me, because there's a lot of stuff you can waste money on, but if you understand what your needs are, there is something out there from a technology standpoint that can help any business thrive. That's a big miss.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's a great lesson. I think a lot of folks that are tuning in, owners, entrepreneurs, we've all, it's intimidating when it's not your specialty. You don't, you know, just enough to know that you don't know, and trying to figure that all out. Well, thanks for sharing that, Griff. And well, Griff, tell us about, let's flip on the other side. Let's talk about a make or two and that happened in your career and some things you learned from it.
So, one of I guess the biggest makes, the things that there's several of them, but a couple of them that took me from a little gumbo shop in Frisco, Colorado, when we first started, we were literally making every single pot of gumbo, and it's an old process. It's a 100-year-old process that takes 6 hours. Well, I had to learn how to replicate that process and bring it into what I call the new world. And learning how to reverse engineer or learn how to take a process, an old process, and bring it into a new form and trusting that process was one of my big things. Is then I went from making one pot of gumbo to making 500 gallons of gumbo at a time. So learning how to a process. You start off with A, and then you can't go from A to Z. You have to follow a process. I also learned during my time that as a founder and CEO, head Cajun, head cook, pot washer, that if I was one of my sayings is that you can't enforce anything unless you write it down. You can't enforce anything unless you write it down. So I learned very early that people want to do their job, but they want to be able to do their job consistently. So if you have a plan, an action plan, an outline, so they know what their job that you're going to do is every day. It's the same job. When they come in, we're not going to change it up every day. We're not going to do everything backwards. So learning, having a process in place, and then teaching that process, living that process, believing in the process, and getting everyone to buy into that process makes it all work better. Now, it can be as simple as thing as, excuse me, as how you open a restaurant in the morning, meaning what lights do you turn on when? Well, there's a reason for it. You don't turn on your big power stuff early because it makes your bill surge. So you teach your employees, I don't need the front house lights on until X time. So we have a checklist. Number one, turn on vent lights, turn on gas. And so it's a checklist every day. Then when it's time to close a restaurant at night, it's a very simple procedure. We don't just say, okay, when it's time to close and we're going to do this and this. We have a process. So they know if I do step one, step two, and step three, so I can get out of here early. I follow the process, and the process makes me do my job better. So one of my big makes is learning how to write a program, write a process down, a guideline, a path to success, and then getting people to buy into it and follow it. That is the biggest make that I had. I can tell anyone out there, if you're starting a new business, okay, the first thing you need to do is write down your success path on everyday tasks, no matter how small they are. Write down your success path so every day you know where to start and you know where to end. And that's been, and whether I learned it by accident or as a natural instinct, I don't know. But I found that every owner that I've dealt with and doing this is they appreciate to have that book, okay, that process.
Yeah, I think you're spot on with that, Griff, and you can see that right away. And especially just in the franchising business, certainly we see that happen, and processes evolve and change, and they get more detailed over time. And
Yep.
you iron things out with each franchise and each location you open.
Yes.
I'm sure those first 5 or 10 you learned a lot. At now opening up each new one, 26, 27, 28, 30, as they come down the road here, you're still learning, but just not as extreme maybe as those first few.
I am still learning. I am
Yeah.
still learning every day. And you have to be one to learn every day. I
Yeah.
mean, we opened one and we learned, an owner brought us something and said, God, why did we think about that? Well, I took it as my idea. I told him I was stealing your idea. But yeah, you got the process and learning as you go. It's very important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Completely agree. Well, and let's talk about this idea of a multiplier, Griff. Is there a multiplier or two that you've used or gone through that you'd like to share?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. My biggest multiplier and success in my business has been mentors. Okay. Um, Everyone knows someone in their life that has been successful or you look up to. Doesn't matter what type of business you're in, what segment it's in. We all know someone personally that a rich uncle, a friend that's done very well, or whatever. We know someone like that, at least one person. mentors have had more impact on me than anything else. Now, a lot of people say, well, I'm a little embarrassed or shy to go ask him or her for advice on what to do or how to do it. Don't be. Okay. If you know them casually, then you'll find that most people that are successful are more than willing and want to share their path to success, what they've done right, what they've done wrong, what they wish they could have a do-over or mulligan on. I have probably 5 mentors that still to this day, some are my age, some are much younger than me, some are in totally different fields than what I'm at. But there's always a common thing that most successful entrepreneurs have, whether it's a tunnel vision of their goal and what they're going to get done, or whether it is a process that they've learned on how to build an organization. It can be any number of things. I still to this day give credit to my mentors all over the country that have from different industries. I could say car business, restaurant business, construction and building businesses. And as you get to know, as you ask these mentors about how to do certain things, and you ask them, is there someone that you could tell me that I could talk to that can maybe give me more information? You know what? Now you're networking mentors. Okay. That mentor introduced you to someone else, and all of a sudden that person opens a whole new world, a whole new field to you. When you find these folks that are highly successful, that are highly motivated, you'll find that they are willing, okay, and you got to be, cognizant of their time, but they're willing to take your call when they won't take anybody else's call. They'd rather talk to you and talk about their successes than talk to the CEO about the next meeting, to plan the next meeting for the next meeting. I promise you, okay? They had much rather give you some input, and then when they see you have some success, then you know what? You talk about opening up the doors, okay? Then they want to really be involved. And you know what they want from it? Nothing. They want to hear you say thank you. That's it. So mentors have been the most giant multiplier that I can think of. And I would implore everyone that if you're in business, if you're wanting to go in business, okay, seek these people out. I've got people that call me all the time now. They want to open up a franchise, and they are surprised at the time that I will take to talk to them and tell them about the missteps that I made and the things that I did right, things that I wish I could start over and do again from the very beginning. And when I tell them, here's my personal cell number, you can call me. And they're surprised when I answer the phone to take their call and walk through and listen to their problems. And I'm gonna tell you something funny about it. Most of the time, they already know the answer to their problem. They just want to get someone to verify that they're on the right path. Okay. Sometimes, you know what? I tell them, you're goofy. Okay. You're not thinking this through at all. Okay. What are you doing here? Okay. Really? You got something that works and you want to go this? Stop it. Okay. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Keep doing what you're doing that's successful. So my biggest multiplier is my mentors.
Well, I relate to that very well. I've had the I feel fortunate to have had some quality mentors in my life, and I resonate very deeply with what you're saying. So impactful, life-changing, trajectory, just make a big difference. So thank you for sharing that, Griff. And one of the last questions we like to ask everyone is, what does success mean to you? You've had a lot of success and wins and makes along in your career. What does success mean to you, Griff?
Wow, that's a surprising question. For a lot of people, success means monetary win. And, listen, we're all doing this. We're not doing this for fun. We want to have fun while we're doing it, but we're all doing this to try to create wealth for our families, for our children, for their children, for our peace and security. So, so you don't have to worry about, making your house payment. And unfortunately, in the world we're in right now today, there are a lot of people that don't have the money to pay their rent or to go buy the food. It's all that's going to pass. Yes, it will. What success means to me? Success means to me when I am able to reach out and help someone else be successful, whether it's showing them how to write a simple business plan, and I get feedback that it worked, that's my success. I tell people all the time, you know what? Making money is not hard. Keeping money may be hard, okay? Okay, making money is not hard. You just have to have the desire to go do it. Look, you can go today. Anybody that's watching this podcast go today and get a part-time job. Everybody's hiring. If you want more money, you go get another job or go get another job, okay? It doesn't matter how menial it is. If you want more money, you can go get a job, okay? If you're willing to go out there and sacrifice some time to do it. Making money is not that hard. A lot of people make it harder than it is. Some of the problems may be actually keeping it once you get it, because once you create wealth, then it brings on a whole nother set of problems. But success to me is being able to pass on what I have done, the knowledge that I've done, and see other people become successful because of what I've been able to show them. I'll give you a great example. I talked earlier about, creating that culture and lifting someone up instead of firing them, and then pushing them forward. There have been cases in my life to where I knew that the person I was dealing with or talking to was actually better at doing what I was doing. Okay. They were better doing what I was doing. They were better at it. So I found a way to push them up and forward. A lot of those people now are millionaires. I recognized their value and pushed them upward, okay, and wasn't worried about them going past me. I wasn't worried about the jealous factor or them outshining me. I pushed them upward. Well, those people are now fans, mentors, friends, and they have gone on to great success. So the biggest satisfaction that I have in my life is helping someone else to be successful. It is my life's work. It's what I love to do. I love teaching people. I love giving and sharing ideas. And say some of my ideas are great, some of them are horrible. Okay, but I'm gonna swing. I'm gonna swing and swing again. Okay.
Well, that I love that passion for that, Griff, and even what you're able to do through your franchising. I mean, that's what you're doing. You're mentoring, you're coaching, you're training, you're giving this opportunity. So it really fits in well with what you're looking to accomplish and grow. Well, Griff, how is there anything you'd like to make sure that you haven't had a chance to say that you were hoping to or would like to leave the audience with?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Is there anything that, as we've been going through the interview here, anything else you'd like to leave with the audience that maybe you didn't have a chance to say or share with them?
Be willing. Okay, I said that in the very beginning. Okay, that's the biggest thing I can tell people. Don't talk about doing something. If you're talking about doing it and they're not actually doing it at that moment, you're kidding yourself. Be willing. Don't have a discussion with 2 or 3 people and say, well, we need to do this. Well, then you know what? Be the one that stands up from the table and they go, what are you doing? Well, I'm going to do that. We said we needed to get it done. I'm going to go get it done now. Be the most willing person in the room. Be the person that takes the first step, the first scary step. Be willing to sacrifice. Be willing to go the extra mile. Be willing to read the extra chapter. Be willing, okay, and you will be successful.
Wow, that's amazing, Griff. Thank you so much. And by the way, before we go, if someone's interested in learning more about the Lost Cajun, how can they do that?
Hey, go to the lostcajun.com and hit on info, okay? And, restaurant business is a tough business. But you know what? It is one of the most gratifying business in the world. When you see somebody take that bite of food and their eyes light up, or you see that kid's eyes light up when they get something they love, or you see that family group there that is enjoying a birthday or anniversary. I love the restaurant business because I like to give service. So the lostcajun.com, and it tells you all the story about who we are and what we do in our culture, and it tells you how to get into franchise business if you want to.
Great. Thanks so much, Griff. I really appreciate it.
All right. Hey, everyone, have a great day. And as we always say in Louisiana, les bon temps relais. Let the good times roll.